All right, well, we have an hour scheduled for this webinar, but one of the great things about API Nation products, syncs, integrations is they're super simple. So this won't take an hour. This will probably take about 25 minutes. I'll show you all three ways people use this Google Sheets sync, and then we can take some questions and find out what's going on. Let's get into it. Okay, so here I am in Command. Let me get my little highlighter thing so you guys can see my mouse. Cool. So here we are in Command. Feel free to throw anything in the chat if anything comes up while we're going. But let me just take you through this. So we're in Command and we need a sync to Google Sheets. So a few reasons why you might do this. One is you want a second location for all your leads. So you have all your leads in KW Command, maybe you even have them in other apps, but you want somewhere that's automatically updated, completely backed up with all the information you have from any of those apps. So that's why a lot of agents do it, just to have a nice, simple spreadsheet with all their contacts and leads, just in case anything happens, or just in case they need it for another app. You know, maybe they sign up for a second app and they want to get up and rolling. Their spreadsheet is ready to go and they can just throw it in that new app and then they're up and rolling. So that's the first reason people do it. The second reason people use a spreadsheet, sync KW Command, there we go. Sync KW Command to a spreadsheet like Google Sheets is so they can collaborate. You have your login to KW Command, but sometimes you have like an ISA or assistant or an admin or somebody who's doing some work for you, and you don't necessarily want to give them your login to KW Command. You got some smart plans set up, you got all this stuff. It's exactly how you want it, and you don't really want somebody going in there and tinkering with stuff. But you need them to reach out to leads, or send some gifts or do something like that. So in that case, what you can do is hand them that Google Sheet, and then it's a direct mirror of the contacts you have in KW Command, and they can't do anything to kind of, muddy up what's going on in your KW Command, which you're doing your best to keep pristine. Instead, they can just work in that kind of like a sandbox of contacts there in the Google Sheets. So that's the second reason. The third reason is some people will sync it the other direction. So they'll have a Google Sheet where they have a bunch of contacts, and they'll have that connected to KW Command, so they can just keep adding contacts to the sheet, and it goes into KW Command. And then the fourth reason I'm going to touch on in a second. It's really cool, and we're going to get to that last. So before we get to that, let's go ahead and set up this sync from KW Command to Google Sheets. So to do that, I'm just going to go over here to the Marketplace from inside Command, and it's going to take me to the KW Marketplace. And inside the Marketplace, there's a bunch of different apps, tools, a bunch of different stuff here. And we at API Nation have added our integrations for KW Command into the KW Marketplace. This is where you can find all of them for KW Command. You can see we even have a little banner here, improve your speed to lead, highlighting some of our lead generation syncs into KW Command. You could also just search for an app like Google Sheets, and you should see that integration pop up. There it is, KW Command and Google Sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And once you see it, once you see it, you can go ahead and just grab it. You can read a little bit more about it. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and click buy now or start trial. It'll take you through purchasing the sync. And then when you're all done, it'll live in my apps. So you can see I have mine right there. There it is. So once you've purchased the sync is not yet active. So that's important to know. And also another important thing is this is a sync for an individual KW Command account to Google Sheets. So this will not sync a team account or a Rainmaker account to Google Sheets. This will only sync an individual account. So once you purchase that sync, you come in here to manage apps and click on the tile. It's going to take you out to API Nation and sign you in. So you can see I'm now signed in with my KW credentials, KW command credentials. And it's going to say, all right, cool. We are signed in. You're in API Nation. We've connected your KW command account. Now let's connect Google Sheets and let's go. So you can just click connect Google Sheets, choose the Google account you want to drop this sheet in. I know a lot of you have a lot of different accounts. You have them for separate businesses, some personal accounts, some Google accounts that you probably used at different brokerages. So make sure you remember which one you choose and make sure you choose the one that you want. I'm going to go ahead and choose my business account here and hit allow. And cool. Now we've connected KW command. We've connected Google Sheets. Now it's going to ask us, okay, what do you want to do here? Do you want to sync Google Sheets to KW command? Do you want to sync KW command to Google Sheets? Which of these two or both do you want to do? Totally up to you. I'm going to show you how to do both. So I'm going to go ahead and check both these boxes. Sync all contacts on first run. That means it's going to take all existing people from KW command and place them in your new Google Sheet. I do want that to happen. That'd be great. If you uncheck that box, it just means it's only going to pay attention from now on any new contacts that get added today and go forward. But I want everybody who gets added from now on, but I also want people who currently exist in KW command. And then it just asks you for a name for the spreadsheet. So I'm just going to call this KW webinar demo. Finally, it's going to double check you're not using any other apps to sync these two apps. You're probably not. If you think you are, just go ahead and go turn those off first, and then come back here, verify, and then activate. So once you do that, it's going to create two syncs. So you can see they're in draft, and it says you're almost there. We just have to set up these two syncs to get rolling. I'm going to start with KW command to Google Sheets. So this is the one that's most commonly used by agents I've seen. And this is taking all your contacts from KW command and putting them in a single spreadsheet. So I clicked on it, and you can see I'm now in the settings for this sync that we've created. And if I want, I can just hit this button, and then it's up and rolling. It's ready to go. In fact, I am, because that's all I need. I'm going to get it up and rolling, and it's going to start sending those contacts in batches over to Google Sheets. So if I go into my drive in a little bit and check, I should see my KW command database beginning to show up on that spreadsheet. A couple things I want to show you here, a couple of options for this sync that may be helpful. One, you can name the spreadsheet. Two is this filter option. So we talked earlier, there's a couple different reasons people turn on the KW command and Google Sheets sync. One is to get everybody backed up into a spreadsheet, super useful. Another is to collaborate with an ISA or another administrator or another agent. And so you can just send them their, the raw dump of everybody you have in KW command. You can send them a spreadsheet with everybody there. Or you could turn on this filter and do something like, let's filter and let's only send over people who are tagged ISA. So then if you have this up and running, then you'll have a spreadsheet that is populated by leads whenever you tag them as ISA. So if you tag them in KW command, you'll know they go to the spreadsheet, and then whoever your assistant, your internal sales associate, they will just keep their eyes on that spreadsheet and call or do whatever you need them to do with people as they appear on that spreadsheet. So you can do that. You can do it by zip code. So if you have somebody focused on a certain zip code, you can do it by source, a ton of different ways to filter. But this way, neighborhood name, if you have a certain agent who is, focused on a certain neighborhood, maybe you could do this and then just create a spreadsheet full of leads that come in to KW command who are in the same neighborhood. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. Remember, whenever you do anything with the filter, always save after you've changed it. And then finally, I'm going to come down here to mapping. For Google Sheets, this is not a big deal. Mapping is we do everything KW command offers, and we're just going to put it in columns in Google Sheets because it's super flexible. It's not like syncing it to like Dotloop or another app where they have specific fields. it's just a spreadsheet. You can make your own fields. So that's what we do. So all this information is going to come over and be available on an ongoing basis, always updated in that spreadsheet. Ton of stuff, ton of different ways to keep track of your leads. So there we go. That is up and running. So any questions about that before I go on to the Google Sheets to KW Command Sync? You can just throw it in the chat, throw it in the Q&A, raise your hand. Totally up to you. All right. All right, I'm going to proceed, but if you have questions, I will stop. Just throw it in the chat or the Q&A and we will we'll take a look. All right, so that's the first sync, KW Command to Google Sheets. Everybody from that CRM, ongoing backup, live backup into my spreadsheet. Now I'm going to take a look at Google Sheets into KW Command. So there's a couple reasons people do this. Like I said, there we go. There's a couple reasons people do this. Like I said, maybe you have a list full of contacts you've been meaning to get into KW Command, and you just haven't wanted to go through the whole upload process with the CSV and stuff. So if that's you, this is a really easy way to do it because you can just use the awesome mapping feature to do it. So you could do that. Other people have a form out there through Typeform or through Google Forms or some other app, and everybody from that form is getting put on a spreadsheet. And so if that's you, maybe you put out a Google form at an open house and you have people fill it out, and then you want people who fill that out to automatically get added to your KW Command. You can do that by syncing Google Sheets to KW Command. The third way is some people will sync the spreadsheet we've just created back into KW Command to kind of feed it back in there. That way they can go into that spreadsheet and they can make edits to their leads and contacts. They can update email addresses and phone numbers in a spreadsheet, which can be a lot quicker sometimes, especially if you have to manage a lot of them. And those changes will go back into KW Command. So it's kind of an easy way to make a bulk upload, bulk edits to your KW Command contacts. That one is, a little bit tricky. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So here's all the stuff that's come over from KW Command. And I'm just going to grab this spreadsheet URL, hit Control Copy or Command C, go back to the sync and paste it in there. So this stuff is getting pulled out of Command, and now I'm telling this sync to send it back into Command. That way I can maybe come in here and clean up some stuff that I've been meaning to clean up. So like I said, if you want to clean up names, you can go through here and fix all the capitalizations really easily. If you want to clean up email addresses, you can do that. Phone numbers, you can find everybody with a phone number that's not good and fix it that way. So yeah, a lot of different options here. So we have the URL. We can tell it, do not overwrite information, only add information to blank fields if you'd like. This is usually the safer way. If you are going to be adding information into that spreadsheet that's syncing into KW Command, and you want that information to take priority over KW Command, just uncheck the box, that's fine. Again, you can filter it. So any of the stuff coming over from the spreadsheet in Google Sheets, if you want to filter by tags or owner name or primary email, you can do that. And finally, you can come down here to the mapping. This mapping will be mostly done for you because it's just the same stuff we pulled from the spreadsheet or from KW Command. And you can go ahead and just map stuff up. This looks good. I'm going to go ahead and activate this. So there we go. Now we have a two-way sync between KW Command and that Google Sheet. So you can see it's going from KW Command to the Google Sheet, and it's going from Google Sheets into KW Command. And that's one way to do it, to have a two-way sync between the sheet. Again, you don't need to have a two-way sync. You can just have stuff pushing out to a Google Sheet that you use to collaborate, use to plan, use to create analysis of your business. And then going back into KW Command, you can have it just send over some leads you have in a spreadsheet you've been meaning to get in there, or if you have a form attached to a spreadsheet, you can have that go in there. So there we go. That is KW Command to Google Sheets. Before I go on to our final use for this sync, does anybody have any questions about what we've covered so far? All right. All right. Cool. Let's get into the last thing. It's super exciting. Somebody shared this with me, and I wanted to share with you guys as kind of a cool use for this. So I was talking to some agents, and they work with their clients. They work with their leads, but it's kind of a pain to text the client or email the client, get some information, go into the client's contact record in Command, make the note that needs to be made. So they were asking me, that's a lot of work, especially if I'm doing it with 50 to 100 clients. I have them all. I need them to do this. What if you could set something up where I send a form to my client, my lead, my contact, asking them a question, and then their answer gets posted as a note in KW Command. That way I don't have to receive the email, paste the answer into KW Command for later. What if you could do that? Or what if there's some information I need from a bunch of my clients, and I would like those just added as notes in KW Command? You can do that now. Let me show you how. So the first thing you're going to do is choose a form manager, like, for example, Google Forms. You can do this with Typeform. I believe you can do this with Jotform also. And you're just going to create a form asking somebody the question, the information you need. So let's just start with a blank form. So we can ask them, are you pre-approved? And then the first question you need to make sure you include is their email address. We're going to need the email when we get their answer so that we can match it up with the correct contact in KW Command. So we're just asking them this one question, and it can be anything you need. We've had some people who have asked, what are your pets' names? Are you available? Are you interested in coming to this open house or this block party we're having for this housewarming? You're interested in that, and then they can get their answer here. So a lot of different things. Let's add that first question. Let's add that email to do short answer, and this is required. And we're going to say email. And then you're going to go to response validation for email, and you're just going to say, this should be an email address. So there we go. So the text needs to be an email. It's required. And that's our first question. Great. So now let's move on to the second question. Are you pre-approved? I'm just going to put that in a short answer. Are you pre-approved? And then they can answer it, which can be helpful because, maybe they have a lot of stuff to tell you about that. And then that's it. I just have that one question for them. I'm just trying to find that one thing out, and it's nice and simple, which is usually best when you're sending people forms. If somebody opens a form that you're asking them to fill out and there's like 6 or 7 questions in here, even though we might feel like this is great, this would be super helpful if I can get all this information from this person. If they see 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 questions, they're probably going to open that form and they're going to put off filling it out, and they're never going to fill it out because it's kind of intimidating, even if they're easy questions. But something like this, just what's your email? Are you pre-approved? Or whatever information you need, then this would be easy. So there we go. Make sure before we go through with anything else, make sure that you feel good about the questions. You feel like they're locked in. You've thought about it, and you're like, yep, this is all I need. The email and this question. So cool. I feel good about this. Next thing we're going to do is go to responses. And I'm going to click on link to sheets. So what that is going to do, what that is going to do is that is going to create a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet of all the responses. So if you don't do this, all the responses are just going to end up sitting in here kind of summed up, which can be helpful if that's what you need. But for what we're doing, trying to get this information to KW command, we want them all in a Google Sheet. So I clicked it. I said, create a new sheet. You can see it's now created a sheet. Timestamp, email, are you pre-approved? So there we go. Now we're going to go back through and create a workflow that's going to sync this into KW command as a note. So I'm going to come in here. I am going to go to apps and I'm going to go back to KW command and then click on Google Sheets. So I have to do this in API Nation, just a heads up. You're going to want to go into apps, find KW command and Google Sheets. And because you already have a connection, you've already set up a sync between these two, you can now kind of see these more granular options here. And there's 3 options. So we did this one, Google Sheets into KW command. We did this one, KW command into Google Sheets. This one is the one we haven't done yet, and we're going to do right now. This is Google Sheets sending a note to KW command. So I'm going to activate this sync. And this is covered under the subscription here, because what you're doing is just paying to connect these 2 apps. It doesn't matter which workflows you set up between them. They're all covered. So I'm going to choose the Google account, and then I'm going to choose my KW account. And then we're just going to map it up. It's going to ask me one more time. All right, we're doing notes. Is that correct? We're not doing contacts. And you just say, yep, that's correct. Check that notes box. Which spreadsheet is going to have these notes? So we're going to go back to that form, copy that, go back to API Nation and paste it in there and hit subscribe. So there we go. We've created the sync and now we're going to map it up. So it's looking at it. I'm going to come down here and first I'm going to grab the email. So I'm going to hit +. Oh, it's going to ask me, you actually have to do these required ones first before you get to the email. So you can see they're required by the asterisks. But first, we're going to do a note title. So we can title this, are you pre-approved? Approved. That will be the note title. And then the note details, we'll just put the answer. So anything they type in there, anything they type in the answer to the form here, that will show up as the note. And then the email, we're going to need that because we need to be able to match this up with their contact in KW command. And that's it. We're ready to go. So one more thing to give you an update, or one more thing to keep in mind when you're setting this up. We can only post notes to contacts that currently exist in KW command. So if you have somebody that you're sending this form out to, they're not currently a contact or lead, and they answer it, that won't be able to post a note because they don't exist. We don't have anywhere to post it. So this only posts notes to existing contacts or leads in KW command. So I'm going to hit activate sync. There we go. So the sync is now up and running. And then let's give it a shot. So let me find a KW command. Let's go back to console. Let me find a contact that we can use. Contacts, here we go. So like I said, they have to be an existing contact. So what's usually best is to just hop into KW command and email out the link to the form out to the people you need to fill it out. That way, you know they already exist in here and it's ready to go. So I'm going to go with Abe Lincoln here. Here is his email address. I'm just going to use that. So I would just, text or email Abe and I'd say, hey, I want to know if you're pre-approved, or whatever other questions you're trying to get answered. So I'd email him this link. I would, send it to him. Do it. You could do it that way. You could email to you. I'm inviting you to fill out a form. Or you could just grab this link, even something this short, and then just text it to him and say, hey, would you mind filling this out? So either way, once you do it, he's going to open it up and it's going to look like a form just like this. And he's going to fill it out. There's my email. Am I pre-approved? I sure am. Sure am. And my, you know, mortgage guy is, you know, George Washington. Whatever he wants to write in there as an answer. You could do just yes and no, totally up to you. But sometimes it's kind of nice to have them write in their own answer if you're trying to get kind of a richer answer. So he says, that's great. There's your answer. Thanks a lot. And then he's done with his day. He's got it. He's submitted his answer to you. You'll see now on that connected spreadsheet, there's his answer. And then you'll see the sync. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to run. Normally to run every 10 minutes. So you wouldn't normally have to do this, but because, you know, I don't want you guys to have to wait 10 minutes for this thing to fire again. I'm just going to push this button, fire it up. And then it's going to go fetch it. It got it. And now let's go back to command. Here's Abe Lincoln. Let's refresh his page and we should see a note here. There you go. Are you pre-approved? I sure am. And mortgage is George Washington. So that's it. That's how you do that. You can have your own clients add notes to their records in KW Command. You don't have to do anything aside from send out that form. So that's the last way people use Google Sheets and KW Command. Any questions about that? All right, very cool. Well, from here, if you're interested in setting this up, go to the KW Marketplace and search for Google Sheets. If you think, man, you know, I liked that idea, I want to set it up with the Google form and everything, but I can't remember, or I want, you know, my admin or somebody to set it up and I don't want to have to explain it to them, you can go to our YouTube channel and we have a video here, how to sync answers from a Google form as notes on your contact in KW Command. So you can just hop in here, grab this video from our YouTube channel, send it to whoever you need to set this up, and then you're off and running. So thanks so much. It's been great chatting with you. We did it 2:30. We got it done in half the time. We'll be doing this again next month, and we'll be talking about some probably some email marketing, how to use KW Command with MailChimp, how to use KW Command with Constant Contact, and best practices for using those. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email us, hello, HELLO, at apination.com, or you can just email me directly, Gabe, GABE, at apination.com, and we'll get you answers. It's great seeing you. Have a great day.